Hello my fellow Shogun 2 players, Zaript here, with another matchmaking replay analysis. It's my game against Steel Farmer, and I already showed you one game against player of this Steel clan. His name was just Steel, and it was a game where he used spear box with quite a lot of annoying components on his build. Heavy gun, hold firm, mounted gunners, Donderbass, and it received quite a lot of negative feedback addressed at the Steel player. And before going further, I should say, even so, it's super annoying indeed. First of all, it's kind of weak if you know how to approach it. And second thing, I want you guys, I don't know how, like as I said in a previous video, I don't really know who my viewers are right now. There is too many of you because of Air of Cottage referencing me a couple of times and commenting on my videos. I got insane amount of subscribers lately, so I don't really know who you are. Unlike to what it was before when I had around 100 subscribers, so it's difficult for me to talk, a bit more difficult. And what I'm trying to say is, the world is big, guys. I have been in Europe, I live in Russia, I have been in Middle Asia, and mentality is very different in different countries. So I don't know which clan is Steel, but if it's Eastern clan, you can understand what they do. Like they play a very practical, very solid build, and let's builds, and patience is a virtue in that culture. For example, I don't really know about them much, so I'm just telling that there is no need to hate on people just because they see stuff differently. And now back to the game. This one farm, actually, I don't. It's not first time I play him, and I actually like him a lot. He very well, usual. GG, have fun, good luck, have fun. GG in the end, no matter how game ended. He's a polite player. So from the very beginning, when let's go with my build. It's very typical. Here we have 2 accuracy bow cavalry general, and I always have this Nagnata War Monk cavalry attached. It has the same speed as bow cavalry, speed 10, and it's a very nice protection. So I always have them in group because just using skirmishing cavalry is a bit risky. So here at Yamasaki point, even so people say that you should deploy near dojo you want, sword dojo, I prefer to go heavier for the middle because it allows me to wrap around and I not necessarily have to engage. If I can contain my opponent here, it's quite okay for me. So he did a nice charge, almost catched my matchlocks here, then he charged my swords, and let's take a look at my Nadachi. He didn't kill that much, it wasn't a good charge actually in the end, but he put very nice pressure on me using his light cavalry. His micro slipped a bit. So small engagement here, and I have my usual cavalry. So Yari cavalry level 2, Yari cavalry level 2, Fire cavalry level 4. So I have, as usual, 4 stronger cavalry, 1 bow cavalry, and 2 light cavalry. Here they are. I planned to get this farmhouse, dismounting them, but I was too busy microing it, this flank. And some of my cavalry was hidden in the forest, so I went here with just matchlocks, Yari Ashigaru protecting matchlocks, Yari Samurai level 4, and Nadachi level 6 actually. Expensive unit. And again, swords, spears, swords, they always go together, and I put a lot in the middle. So at this point I think, okay, it's so nice that I destroyed his cavalry, right? Let me actually stop to make it clear one more time. I don't put all my forces in one side, because this is choke point, and I can control it with a smaller force. So even if he gets last dojo, I will have these 2 dojos, shrine and farmhouse, and I will be able to use this reach. And look, he have no skirmishing basically. I will use my bow cavalry and general, and he have very testy targets. Nagnata War Monk level 4, 6, Shigaru level 9 with hold firm. Very sturdy Naginata Spear Army level 6, BP Sam level 6. But this is very low mobility contingent. So I'm planning to not engage here. He have no bows. So I'm planning to skirmish with my matchlocks, my bow cavalry and general, and every arrow kills one very expensive monk. So until I have any arrows left, there is no archery dojo on the map, I'm planning to skirmish, and this is a very good spot for me to skirmish. He can't even force me. And at this point, I didn't count his forces well enough, and I thought that he got no cavalry left, well, except for this one Naginata monk cavalry. And despite all my mistakes, just because I played so safely, I attached this Nagi monk cavalry to my skirmishes. It went well for me. Good safe deployment with ability to wrap around. Now I'm taking my time, skirmishing, moving around, and this is probably something that saved me. Let's take a closer look. Here I'm just moving back. I don't want to engage this insane Naginata force. Nope, never. My light cavalry dismounted there, and here it is. Suddenly I see it. Like, let's just think about this moment. He throws cavalry at you, like maybe it's actually thoughtful disruption to make you think that he doesn't have cavalry anymore. I don't know, probably not. It's way too smart and risky. But now he wants to take a long fight, destroy as much as he can, and then show mounted gunners to finish the deal. Smart play, but light cavalry have increased scouting range, and I'm like, this wasn't deliberate on my part, but I'm trying to make it deliberate. Whenever you have forest on enemy side, it's a good thing to check it when it's safe. Like his infantry far away, I got lucky here because I totally didn't count his units. And he have 2 more Yari cavalry. Look how big a mistake I did. Like, how did I miss so heavy cavalry contingent in my calculations of his build? This is mistake that should have lost me the game. Level 6 Yari cavalry, level 4 Yari cavalry, and increased range mounted guns. And again, guys, I know there would be comments saying that this is bad behavior, that this is annoying and OP. Yes, in some sense it is, but it's not practical to think about it. You have to think about how do I deal with it, and how did I deal despite it being pure luck. And look, I'm instantly, it started and I realized my cavalry shouldn't be here, and I'm trying to sneak my cavalry in this passage to get in that fight, sacrificing whatever I need just to get here faster. Popping a rapid advance on my Yari samurai, my top putting my bow cavalry into melee mode, charging them. My top priority is to get this unit. And he does some mistakes because he started managing this flank, trying to catch my cavalry. Maybe I should have taken my time and went around. Probably I did. But just because I played so safely and my general and bow cavalry weren't alone, they were protected by these Nagi warrior monks, and light cavalry scouted, and I had these spears around. Just because I played so safely, maybe it was random luck, obviously, it kind of was. Now I get a chance. He got split, he played less safe, and now I will be getting his mounted gunners. Now he tries to get rid of all my cavalry that he can, and well, it turned well for me. Just because, like, but imagine now that I did play differently. Like, if I went for melee rush and I decided to engage in this fight in choke point and maybe throw away my cavalry in this choke point, then in the end these mounted gunners would have been decided the game for Pharma. Very pragmatic strategy again, and there is no sarcasm in it. That's what people do. Like, if I remember the tournament, one of Gerudo Flash tournaments, I think, which Fatal Imprudence won. He didn't hide mounted gunners, and no one would say that it was bad or unworthy behavior to hide Shizugataki spears, right? It's less OP unit, of course, and that allowed him to win some cavalry fights where enemy was just not calculating forces right. Enemy wasn't ready for such a game. And this is important part, like think about which unit you can hide and without which you can play early game. Like ambushes is important part of a game. It would be even important in Rome where dynamic line of sight would be employed. And that said, again, mounted gunners kinda cheap. Like hidden mounted gunners cheap, not because it's it's still pragmatical. It's a good way to win a game, but it's cheap just because mounted gunners such a unit that can turn the whole game. Not engagement. Mounted gunners can win the whole game for you. It's just a unit that way too useful and way too cheap. So at this point I see that game is unnecessarily close. Like unfortunately I lost my bow cavalry killing only 80 men, which is decent, but I hoped to skirmish with his monks much more. Let's see. His infantry contingent is pretty much in okay shape. But saying that, I still have something left. I still have more bowgen left, and I have my much like war monks with increased range. So, and here I'm kind of, you will see how I will manage this engagement, but I should say this mix between leadership and the melee gen, he uses it well. Losing, he feels in how bad the spot he is in, so he does his best to kind of put a pressure on me using just his general. And what I do, I don't want to take engagement where he have even slightest uphill advantage. More than that, I want him to, when he goes uphill, I want him to pin him down using my Yari Samurai. They can stop charge well, and then I will charge with my Nadachis. Yep, so I'm like, I try to, like this is micro. There is no strategy. My strategy was decided beforehand. Here sort of mistakes, this loose formation, Naginata attendants, not that easy to kill. I should have just sent my Yari Ashigaru and reposition my matchlocks here already. So here, using just one Yari Sam, I stop these 3 units, and he makes a mistake obviously by splitting. He wants to destroy my Nadachi, but like just now he realizes I'm not really planning to fight him that much. Like, see, my Yari Sam. Actually, this engagement I shouldn't have taken. Maybe he can get my gen? Oh, maybe not. Just because he have mix between melee gen and leadership gen, he doesn't have speed, I believe. And I have some points in speed for my leadership gen. And here in choke point, this is the best place for my Nadachis level 2 and level 6 to stay, especially level 6. Because they have, well, good morale, and I have a shrine, and I have much luck support, and my unit will not rout because the moment they waver, I click Banzai. And while it's happening, yep, I'm going around. And this Yari Samurai from here, it's already got to the main fight. I basically sacrificed this Nadachi to keep this BP Sam out of a fight. It wasn't really a thoughtful decision because at this point, at such speed, I couldn't make decisions that well. And I can't say that he's a weaker player. Like, this, let's agree, this is a cheap tactic, valid, but kinda cheap. But even so, he relied on this tactic. When it didn't work, he makes this game super close. Like, this game is much closer than it should have been, I believe. So I assume he's a good player. Just because of my rally here and because of Banzai on Nadachis, I'm not afraid to shoot at my own units. Usually this might cause mass rout to your own units, so should be careful, obviously. So I use choke point to my advantage. And now, well, what else he can do? This Nagi Monk still would wreck kills with my against my Yarisam. He doesn't have the dodge anymore. And look, man, I like... Whenever happens, when you have only 2 units, you still should keep struggling. Which he tries. He tried to run away and back charge my matchlocks. And now that he sees that I turned them, he goes back. This is cool. Like this shouldn't be automatic at all. This should be your decisions. It should be your attention management. And this was actually deliberate. Picking my Nadachi here, I just waited for him to get this BP Sam so that I can charge them from a flank. And now I suddenly remember that I have light cavalry, so I send them here. And at this point, I only have stand and fight for me. I don't have Banzai anymore. I don't have Raleigh anymore. It was kinda close in the end. But, well, now it's over. And he called GG, so yes, indeed, it's a good game. And obviously, this strategy, like this approach, against players who less lucky than me in this game, and players who not good at counting units, it's a very strong approach, because people can't really micro their engagement efficiently. So sometimes they lose much more than they need. Sometimes they lose their skirmishers or they lose their cavalry. And at this point, game is done. And this is why I don't like mounted gunners. This allows such scary strategies. Because put any other unit hidden, like insane sword unit, insane cavalry unit, it still will not decide a game by its own. It will just weaken your main engagement because you put too much funds in it. For example, taking about Fatal Imprudence, that Spears of Shizugataki he used, they cost 1400 koku. It's 1400 koku not participating in main fight. And then when they're alone, they can't turn game around. But mounted gunners, oh man, it's less than 1000 koku and they... Oh, no, slightly less. It's, let's say, 1000 koku, and they can turn game around. Like, that's the problem. In a main fight, when your opponent, let's say, winning that fight, infantry fight, because he have more koku in fight, more infantry involved or more cavalry involved, he may win it, but then you have units that can win remaining of the game. Now, so if you ask for my opinion, it's a cheap tactic, but I think anyone who can use it should use it. Just like, unless I don't use it because I think I can deal without it. But please, like, until CA rebalances the game, how should I put it? I believe people shouldn't tell other people how to play this game. Like, as a community, we can decide rules for ourselves on a tournament. Or as individuals, we can decide what's good for, like, how far we can go, like, to annoy our opponents. I try not to annoy them at all, but... that's my personal decision, but I wouldn't tell anyone, don't play like that. As long as it's effective, try it. And other thing, I know it's difficult to count like how much unit costs and know what your opponent have hidden. What you can do is a small trick I use whenever I'm in a good mental shape. I just compare 3 contingent: skirmishing, cavalry, infantry. And if I notice that somehow I'm stronger in skirmishing and infantry at the same time, I start questioning myself. Maybe something hidden. That sort of stuff. Not exact calculations, but just this feeling. So let's take a fast look. My infantry force did decent in that choke point. Yeah, but most important part of it is that I managed to get This annoying unit out of the game. Where is it actually? Yeah, 32 kills for mounted gunners. Unit that could have been destroyed me. Okay, guys, that's all I have to say for you right now. If you have any comments on that, please let me know in the comment section. And thank you for Game Farmer. Good luck and have fun. See you later, guys. See you.